Okay. So will be the last panel of today in the Pavillon of Morocco, but I hope that we can get some audience. You know that we have also sharing this Zoom and YouTube channel with several partners from Morocco and other CGR partners who follows and private farmers who follows this session because it's mainly concern them this kind of practices. So this is session is linked to the one before where we to discuss about tracking innovations, and this is one of innovations that we want to speed up and faster adoption in Morocco. Without delay, this initiative was launched recently with Ministry of Agriculture and Green Generation Strategy. You know that this kind of innovation was tested years, more than 3 decades of work in research. But unfortunately, we noted that adoption was very low. And the government of Morocco, uh, to answer the commitment of climate actions, they promote this kind of technology to be part of the green generation strategy to achieve 1 million hectare by 2013. So what is making this story successful is mainly because we know who is the demand driver, who is the Minister of Agriculture. We know who can implement, and mainly Minister of Agriculture through his regional direction and also with support from research and partners. And also INRA and ICARDA is supporting as a research army. We have also several potential scaling, and we are glad that we have with us here the Director General of the ADA, Agence of the Agribusiness in Morocco. And we have also ONCA. We have private partners like El Mutmir. We have also farmer associations like AMAC, Moroccan Association of Conservation Culture. We have also some potential capacity in research, mainly through the system that we have in Morocco, mainly universities and also APNI, for example, EMCSP, IAV, and others. Private sector are also part of the ecosystem, and we are glad that we have OCP. We have also the bank, World Bank, the Moroccan bank also, the agriculture are also supporting this. We have started also some work with the carbon farming spin-off, or can I say a private company called Torba. This synergy that make this action could be successful to be promoted. We have some nice outcomes coming since the 3 years when we start this project, that we increased the adoption by 8, which is also important. We have several partners that are involved now, farmers, more than 5,000 farmers actually embarked with this work. We have developed a lot of outcomes research, maybe suitability maps. Technology is not working everywhere. It's working some area. In some area, we need to propose other technologies. We have also developed a digital platform to follow what is on the ground. And this is why my colleague before present this technology as to be tracked, because this is important to follow what is reality on the ground. And we have also succeeded to have innovation platforms, because without these innovation platforms, we cannot release some, and also training, because we have need of a lot of training on this technology, and we need some key stakeholders to be involved on that. We have also signed different MUs. The partnership is very important. That's example of the tracking that is needed, because whatever you see, if you don't follow on the ground what happened, you cannot understand where is the barrier, where is the constraints, or how we can remove them. And this is something that we work with World Bank to develop it. And I hope that we can adopt it for 1 million hectare to follow the reality on the ground. So we start 3 years before. Now we are reaching, we hope that by this campaign this year, we will reach around 250,000 hectares, which is again a big step. But how we can speed up this adoption to increase it by at least 4 times to reach 1 million hectare in next 5 years? That's where the question is, and how we can move. For that, we have with us very, can I say, knowledgeable and informative panelists. We have with us Dr. Fawzi Bkawi, who will join us online. He's from the INRA, DG INRA Morocco, and also the scientific committee of AAA. We have with us Mr. El Mehdi Arifi, who is the Director General of ADA, Agence de Développement Agricole. We have also Dr. Vinay Nanjia, who is lead of soil water agriculture team from ICARDA. We have Dr. Ajit from ICARDA, but maybe leading the initiative called Climber, Climate Resilient Initiative. And we are glad also to have some gender. And we have my colleague Iman Abdel Fatah from OCP. And we have some youth, gender. We have Omar Farhat from, he's policy official from emerging agriculture. And we are glad to have this, can I say, panel to discuss a little bit about this. By this, I can invite my panelists to join. And believe me, the online colleagues are there, Mr. Dr. Fawzi and also Mr. Ajit. So I hope that Mr. Fawzi is online. You hear me, Dr. Fawzi? That's good. So, excellent. And I hope that Ajit also, Mr. Ajit can join us online. So my question going directly to the General Director of INRA, Dr. Fawzi. Dr. Fawzi, how do you think that INRA can support this program, national program, to be to reach the objective of 1 million hectare by 2013?
Thank you, Dr. Mostaq. Thank you for inviting me. And hello, friends and colleagues. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you today. This is an important event, and I wish you all the best with the event. To go to your questions, I think you mentioned some of the important factors, but INRA has been working on no-till for a while, and through several years of testing and experience with its partner has shown that the no-till system has many advantages, in particular in years of drought, and shows a significant benefit to the farmers. There are some questions that we need to continue working on despite some of these progress. Among these factors, I will mention a few, such as the seeders. This is one of the key elements in Morocco. For instance, most of the farmers don't have special seeders when we started this program, and thanks to the assistance and the contribution of the Ministry of Agriculture, several seeders were purchased. Now, there are different types of seeders, and INRA, with its partner, in particular ICARDA, is looking at the type of seeders because some soils may require special treatment or special equipment. We are also looking at some of the factors of rotations. No-till, one of the elements that's key is to rotate cereals with legumes, for instance, and we are looking at these factors to improve, again, the health of the soils, in particular by bringing natural nitrogens to the system. INRA also is working on developing more adapted and more resilient varieties. Morocco has been experiencing several years of droughts, and we need to continue working and work on this aspect of more resilient varieties that will require less rain or less water. And in collaboration with ICARDA, we have developed some resilient varieties, such as one called Jawahir. We've shown that this variety can have more than 30% yield in a year of drought. Now the question is, are these varieties adapted to no-till? Is there an interactions between no-till and variety and genetics? And some of the research have been shown that it is the case, and we are continuing working on this aspect. One of the other elements is how to monitor all these data. And I think my colleague, Dr. Mostaq, has shown that there is a project funded through the World Bank that's doing that. it's really important to be able to monitor, in particular in this project that we are aiming for 1 million hectare. So we need to know each year how many hectares have been accomplished, and using a digital system will be very, very helpful. In addition to these elements, of course, we work on capacity development and reach out to the farmer and to the extension services, because the no-till system is a system. It's a complex. It has many elements. We need to really to make sure that the farmer are using this properly, and we work with partners such as ONCA and associations, no-till associations or conservation agriculture associations to showcase some of these technology in some of our platforms. And finally, partnership is key. We do a lot of collaborations with ICARDA and our partner from the consortium from the Ministry of Agriculture, and also for several departments in the ministry and with Torba. Without funding, we couldn't do that. So we keep reaching out to some of our funders, and we thank our many funders that allow us to achieve some of these programs. Thank you, Dr. Mustaq, for these questions, and be happy to take any questions later on.
Thank you, Dr. Fawzi. And I think it's good that you highlight the enablers like funding, and that make me giving the question to my colleague Vinay Nanjia, who is the lead of soil and water agronomy team at ICARDA. Vinay, from your position, what do you think about this main challenge and barrier of the adoption of conservation agriculture, and how ICARDA and NARS should work to enhance the adoption of this technology in Morocco and maybe beyond? You can use it.
It's working? I think it's working. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. So thanks for that question. So we at ICARDA have been trying to engage with the Moroccan Ministry of Agriculture, because this was a very ambitious announcement and part of the national policy that adoption of conservation tillage could be a game changer and help stabilize and increase yields even during a dry year. So how to go from this announcement to actual steps to take to reach there? We partnered with INRA to develop a roadmap which was funded by the World Bank on what could be the role of the private sector, role of the national government, role of the farm machinery sector, where are the opportunities and bottlenecks that need to be addressed to be able to make this into a success story. So that was one thing that we tried to make an investment plan for anybody wanting to join this initiative. The second thing that we realized was that we needed to have an association of conservation agriculture farmers coming together so that we can understand their adoption barriers. Is it the seeder? Is it the market access? Is it the training? Is it the extension agents that also need to redevelop their thinking and have understanding of the appreciation for the conservation tillage topic? So awareness building, having them come together and have a variety of stakeholders, boundary partners, a variety of investors trying to join hands. And it was a multidisciplinary approach. It was not just agronomists trying to solve this problem. We needed social scientists. We needed people with economic skills and trying to understand. At the same time, a Middle Eastern farmer, a Middle Eastern youth is about 23 years old, but a Middle Eastern farmer is about 63 years old. So there is an age gap. A farmer is aging, and there is youth that is not engaging in agriculture. So we really needed to create opportunities for youth to also join this effort. So how could we bring in young, maybe children of farmers who can find business opportunities? They may be the one giving these seeders out for rent. So how they can have a business plan where you are renting a machine and not owning the machine. So you're only paying for the time that you're using and not having to buy it and having it parked in your backyard for the whole year sitting there. So a lot of innovative thinking had to go into how can it turn into a profitable business proposition for a variety of stakeholders, because they all need to come together for 1 million hectare. It cannot be just the national government being responsible for making this game changer. It has to be everybody joining hands with the national government being in the lead. So thank you, INRA, for making ICARDA and Excellence in Agronomy initiative of the CGIR join this effort with you. And we are quite happy and proud of this efforts. And it has also been featured as a key success story that we have tried to help inform the national decision, national policy to adopt conservation tillage, because it's been successfully adopted in many countries. And I'm sure Morocco also will be one of them in the future. So thank you so much. I have to rush to another event, so I'll excuse myself. You may want to move here. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, Vinay. I know that you are involved in another panel, but thank you for being here and also to give can I say, what CGR and ICARDA can do for this program.
There's a Baku water initiative launch happening. So I have to go rush there. So thank you so much.
No problem. We can follow later. Thank you. Just for your information, this session is also followed by a YouTube channel of INRA, and in the Zoom, several partners are following us while it's, can I say, rush time in the COP. Ceci me ramène à poser la question effectivement au directeur général de l'Agence de développement agricole. Comme a été dit tout à l'heure par Monsieur Vinay, c'est que le gouvernement marocain, il a compris que c'est une initiative, un programme ambitieux et il y a beaucoup de travail à faire. Comment l'Agence de développement agricole supporte ce programme national pour atteindre 1 million d'hectares d'ici 2030, Inch'Allah?
Merci beaucoup, Dr Moussadak, et merci de m'avoir invité, l'Agence pour le développement agricole à ce panel très important. Comme l'a expliqué tout à l'heure Dr Fouzi Bkawi, directeur de l'INRA, c'est un programme ambitieux de 1 million d'hectares. Vous savez, les céréales au Maroc, ils occupent une place prépondérante, une place de choix, une place importante. Au niveau de la superficie agricole utile, presque 71-72% de la superficie est dédiée aux céréales. Et puis, les céréales génèrent plus de 20% du chiffre d'affaires agricole. Et vous voyez un peu l'importance des céréales au Maroc. Et puis, en termes aussi de consommation et d'habitudes alimentaires, les Marocains consomment beaucoup de céréales. Donc, c'est une denrée stratégique. Et d'ailleurs, il constitue un paramètre essentiel pour l'établissement et l'élaboration des lois de finances au Maroc. Et d'où l'importance qu'on donne à ce secteur des céréales. Il y a aussi, paradoxalement, cette importance des changements climatiques. Et comme vous l'avez dit tout à l'heure dans votre exposé, ils sont là, ils deviennent de plus en plus méchants, entre parenthèses. Nous vivons notre 6e année de sécheresse au Maroc et ces changements climatiques, cette sécheresse impacte de plein fouet et de force le secteur céréalier au Maroc. Et quand il impacte ce secteur, c'est-à-dire qu'il impacte les petits agriculteurs, il impacte les moyens agriculteurs, il impacte le consommateur, l'économie nationale et tout. De l'importance de ce programme. Donc, le ministère de l'Agriculture et tous les professionnels aussi du secteur, les chercheurs, notamment l'Institut national de la recherche agronomique, s'exercent avec beaucoup de détermination à trouver des solutions pour être beaucoup plus résilient par rapport à cette réalité climatique et développer le secteur céréalier malgré les changements climatiques et la sécheresse. On a parlé des variétés sélectionnées, on parle de 1 million d'hectares de semi-direct. Ce 1 million d'hectares de semi-direct, c'est un objectif ambitieux à l'horizon 2030. Et toutes les synergies, les institutions que vous avez citées tout à l'heure, au niveau national, l'INRA, l'ADA, l'Office national du conseil agricole, les directions de l'agriculture, les professionnels, etc., multiplient leurs efforts pour rendre ce secteur résilient et atteindre les objectifs du 1 million d'hectares. Nous, à l'ADA, et c'est le vif de votre question, nous, à l'ADA, nous intervenons par le levier de l'agriculture solidaire. Nous exécutons et nous supervisons un grand programme d'agriculture solidaire dans le cadre de la génération green, la politique agricole actuelle au niveau national. Et l'agriculture solidaire sont des projets, pour ceux qui ne connaissent pas, sont des projets entièrement réalisés et financés par l'État. C'est des projets montés en concertation avec les bénéficiaires, avec les agriculteurs, et sont des projets qui sont des projets intégrés, qui intègrent un peu tout l'écosystème de production, l'écosystème de valorisation, l'entrepreneuriat des jeunes, aussi des actions génératrices de revenus pour les femmes. Et c'est des projets qui comprennent des composantes aussi bien de production végétale, animale, mais également des composantes d'infrastructure, notamment pour la mobilisation de l'eau, l'infrastructure de valorisation, etc., etc., le désenclavement aussi, etc. Alors, depuis qu'on a lancé, que le ministère a lancé le programme du million d'hectares du semi-direct, on a intégré cette composante dans les projets d'agriculture solidaire. Notre objectif, c'est de viser surtout les petits agriculteurs et les zones qui souffrent de vulnérabilité et les zones qui souffrent de beaucoup de précarité, notamment les zones de montagne, les zones semi-arides, les zones également de montagne, etc. Et donc, nous avons un objectif de contribuer par 100 000 hectares de semi-direct à ce programme à travers les projets d'agriculture solidaire. Et l'importance de ces projets, c'est qu'ils sont financés entièrement par l'État. Également l'acquisition du matériel, y compris l'acquisition du matériel du semi-direct. Donc, nous avons déjà commencé, nous avons validé plus de 54 projets qui totalisent une superficie de près de 40 000 hectares déjà, pour laquelle nous avons le financement. Et voilà, donc nous avons dans ces projets d'autres composantes. Il n'y a pas que le semi-direct. Pour réussir le semi-direct, il y a aussi la composante d'organisation des agriculteurs. Il y a la composante aussi des jeunes, de l'entrepreneuriat, la composante de l'agrégation agricole, parce que le secteur céréalier est par excellence un secteur qui se prête bien à l'agrégation agricole. Et puis, la composante aussi de valorisation de la production, notamment par la construction des unités de stockage, etc. Donc, c'est toute la chaîne de valeur. Il n'y a pas seulement que le semi-direct proprement dit, mais aussi la chaîne de valeur jusqu'à la valorisation, etc. et l'amélioration de la qualité de la production. Voilà. Merci.
Merci, merci beaucoup. Un petit, il faut qu'on applaudisse quand même, c'est un effort. Merci, merci, merci beaucoup, Simedi, parce que vous nous rendez un peu heureux qu'il y a un effort qu'on a, comme on dit, on n'a pas oublié les petits et qu'ils sont dans ce programme de l'agriculture solidaire, parce que je sais qu'il y a beaucoup d'agriculteurs qui ont moins de 1 hectare, 2 hectares et qui veulent joindre. Et comme a dit tout à l'heure, c'est Fouzi, il y a un problème d'accès à la machine de semi-direct, le semoir. Avec ce modèle, l'agriculture solidaire, je pense que c'est une solution assez petite et Inch'Allah, on va essayer d'accélérer, comme on a dit, pour aller vite. Ceci me ramène à poser la question à Madame Iman. Donc, I will switch in English because I have some partners. I know, as raised now by the Director General of ADA, that it's needed to have partnership. And I know that OCP, as private sector, working a lot on this, promoting this kind of technology, not only in Morocco, but outside of Morocco. Could you please develop more what OCP is doing in this, promoting this kind of technology? Not OCP, but also ecosystem. Yeah, agriculture, mainly in agriculture. Yeah. No. If not,
so thank you so much, Dr. Rashid, for inviting us. Maybe before starting, maybe as you mentioned, maybe there's other partners around the table who doesn't know who is OCP and what we are doing.
yes.
Quick words about OCP. Well, OCP is plant nutrition solution providers. We are the world's leader fertilizers, phosphate-based fertilizers producer in the world. We are also custodians of more than 70% of the world's reserves of phosphate available in Morocco. So it makes us a huge, it puts on us a huge responsibility on how to use and manage this vital element. And this is why we are working toward nutrition and nutrient use efficiency. And I explain myself. So nutrient use efficiency is very much how can we just use the right amount needed of nutrients that will help the plant growth without having any impact on environment. And I would say that maybe it's not here. The problem is not here, remaining only here, but the problem is about how we can support smallholder farmers. And you were talking about this earlier. How can we support about smallholder farmers to use it the right way? Because the use of the fertilizer is the challenge. Maybe sometimes there is a lack of knowledge. Maybe they need capability buildings, they need to be supported, etc. And here where we are working very closely with multi-stakeholders, local government in Africa, in Morocco also we have Al Mutmir, who is working very closely with smallholder farmers on this situation, all in partnership with the Moroccan government, and so on. So to come back to the smallholder farmers issue and the use of fertilizers. So what we are doing, we are more, our strategy is how can we promote and get more productivity, better yield, help them grow better yield with using the not only, I will not use, and I don't like when people use with less, but more with optimal resources. We have this confusion about growing more with less, which is false actually. It's more growing more with the optimal nutrient use, and we are following the 4R framework with the support, of course, of yourselves, support of the ecosystem. So the 4R framework is about using the right source, using the right time, in the right time, using it with the right amount and in the right place. So I explain myself. So first, for the right source. So we work towards soil sampling first to understand what is the root soil dynamic. To give the plant what is exactly needed. And you know this better than me. Also, we work toward also understanding the right amount needed for this plant. When does it need it exactly? And understand the plant life cycle. Once we do all of this, I think it's not enough, because there are other dimensions that the farmers are considering. Do they have the affordability to buy those fertilizers? Do they have the right knowledge that they need those fertilizers? Which type of fertilizer to be used? Which, let's say, when to use it? So all those elements, and here where comes another time the partnership. We are working with extension agents and distributors locally, with NGOs, with financial institutions, and with markets also, because once they produce their products, how are we going to link them to markets? So there is an idea about how can we link them to markets. So now we work with financial institutions to give them microcredits so they can afford buying fertilizers. We are thinking also about other stakeholders who can help us in buying those products from them, so they are not lost in the value chain. You know, Africa, we have huge issues of infrastructure. Sometimes there is no road, sometimes it's the flood, sometimes it's whatever. So we are working on those in a multi-stakeholder collaboration to help farmer grow more with the optimal resources, so we can preserve phosphorus, which is vital, and also help them sequester carbon, because it's also a way when giving them the right incentive regarding agricultural practices, so they know that they are also preserving climate and also preserving nature by preserving land and soil expansion. So I hope I responded to the question.
No, thank you again for this.
Thank you.
I know that OCP is doing a lot and supporting several initiatives, and will come later for the initiative about carbon that you can explain more. Maybe before I give the floor to Omar, we have another panelist online, is Dr. Ajit Govin. who is a climatologist from ICARDA. And why we invite him? Because we know that we just raised by my colleague 6 years of drought in Morocco. Normally, this is destructive situation. But again, Morocco is still resilient while we get this, I think, the alarming situation. But we need some support also from climatologists and also some initiative that my colleague, Dr. Ajit, is leading, they call it Climber. A Climber initiative chose Morocco among other countries to be engaged in the work. Can you, Dr. Ajit, explain more how Climber initiative want to support the adoption of this kind of technology to be more resilient face of this climate change?
First of all, hello, everybody. Greetings from Cairo. Thank you for this invitation for this very important side event, especially understanding how the conservation agriculture can be scaled in Morocco as a climate adaptation strategy. So from CGIAR, I'm coordinating the Climber project in Morocco. We have a Climber project operating in 6 vulnerable countries, and Morocco is one of them. Morocco is enduring the 6th year of drought, and smallholder farmers are the most vulnerable. And already the country has identified a national vision on adapting to climate change with conservation agriculture as the method. But the challenge here is how to scale that, how to, as my colleague was mentioning earlier, although we have this vision, scaling is a challenge. We have a lot of knowledge since the last 30 to 40 years of research. We know what are the governing dynamics of how conservation agriculture will help to adapt to a changing climate. But scaling is something different. Scaling it needs to have this multi-sectorial approach. And this is exactly where Climber comes in. Climber is a project that tries to enhance the resilience of climate vulnerable countries by fostering the philosophy of transformative adaptation. So we really need to have this transformative adaptation by not only working on the science part, but also trying to address the policy component that can really make an impact at multiple scales. So I think one of the major factors that could help in realizing the scaling of the conservation agriculture technology in Morocco is to have a strong policy component. Of course, when we talk about policies, policies can be at various levels. It can be national scale policy, climate policy like national determined contributions or national adaptation plans. In those plans and those policies, we should definitely ensure that conservation agriculture as a technology be explicitly mentioned. If it is already there coming up in the revised versions, but that's a thing that we all have to work together, not only one ministry. I think my next point is policy coherence. We need to have congruency in policies between the different ministries of a given country. Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Water Resources, all have to come together and work together and in order to adopt conservation agriculture as a climate smart solution for the country and also at the grassroots level. The next point I would like to mention is the strengthening of the extension system. Farmers are not adopting simply, one of the main factors could be because of the lack of knowledge in that, lack of awareness. And that means extension system has a great role to play. I know that ONCA is working really and doing a great job, but I think more things could be done by bolstering the current extension system with digital technologies, developing solutions that can help the farmers understand and give location-specific and time-specific solutions. And also these solutions need to be linked to the subject matter experts, because sometimes farmers, it's not important that farmers are bombarded with information, but they also need to ask some questions to the farmer, to experts in real time. So all those technologies could be materialized using digital technologies. So that's one of the things that we are working in Climber. We're developing a solution in collaboration with INRA, in collaboration with ONCA, and making a digital platform in the farmers' language that could help create awareness. Another important topic is finance. Previous panelists has already indicated about finance. It is crucial. Without finance, we can't do much. But when we are talking about finance, we have to think not only about macro type of finance like World Bank funding or huge funding, but also like Iman was mentioning, it can also be microcredit. So we have to think about finance at all levels, funding the government, funding the ministries, funding the national systems, but also funding NGOs and grassroots level organizations and farmers. So that spectrum of funding we have to design, and many stakeholders can come together. Then curriculum can play a great role. Many universities have to adapt to in the context of changing climate. New curriculum can be developed so that these type of solutions can be promoted. I just want to highlight one more thing, that conservation agriculture can be one entry point. And through this conservation agriculture, we can bring in other climate smart solutions like because water and carbon are closely linked. Carbon conservation agriculture can be positioned as a technology to sequester carbon when we are talking about NDCs. But when we are talking about climate adaptation, we can position it in such a way that conservation agriculture could encourage infiltration of water, and because of this, rainwater could be harvested, the rainwater could be conserved during the winter time, and that can be used to recharge the soil water, and that can help the crops during dry season. So it can be also positioned in the context of water conservation. So I think in many ways we can use conservation agriculture. So with that, I will stop, and maybe I will take some questions later on. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You was a larger, broader, and you say we can go beyond that. Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Water also need to be there. Ministry of Environment, Climate Change need to support also this plan, because it's thanks for this message. And I think we need again to see how we can involve them in this national plan. And I think this is something need to be done as soon as possible. Without delay, I give the floor to our youth, our engineers, Omar Farhat, who is Moroccan. I think he's working policy officer with Emerging Ag. Could you first present what is Emerging Ag? And my question for you, how do you think we need to involve youth, mainly youth farmers, in this national plan to be adopted by the youth?
Absolutely. I hope you can hear me well.
I think.
Perfect. So hello, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me, representing the voice of young people from Morocco and across the world. First of all, before I reply to your questions, I would like to thank the panelists for flagging all their youth initiatives. First of all, ADA for supporting youth-led agribusinesses, agripreneurship, and all the stuff you guys are doing is really amazing. And we're really proud to have like our agencies and government supporting us. Second, with OCP investing tremendously on education and on young people. And of course, Vinay also mentioned that if young people are not taking over what their parents are doing, we will be all doing all this stuff for nothing. So I thank him for saying that. So my name is Omar Farhat. As I was introduced, I am a policy officer at Emerging Ag, but I'm also the former president of the International Association of Students in Agricultural and Related Sciences. That is the world's largest student network in the field of agriculture and related sciences. That is also present in Morocco in 4 universities. And if I have to speak about what IAS is doing, I will have to spend 2 hours. So let's avoid that at the end of the day with a lot of competition. I don't want to trouble you into that. But just 3 things. We call it the AAA approach. First of all, advocacy. Second of all, policy, advocacy, action. I forgot the third one. I've been president for 4 years ago, so that skipped. But just to say that young people in EAS have been pretty much engaged in the UN space, in the UNFCCC here at COP, and even beyond at the FAO, at the World Food Forum, in several UN fora, also at the national level. We try to be as much present as we can. Whether in conservation agriculture, as you have presented, or in other aspects, we really need to be engaged more and more. But you mentioned about the role of young farmers and young people. When you look around in our communities, and when you look around even in different places, you see that young people are advocates. They are able to speak on behalf of their communities and drive resilience and social change. And then when you look around, you see that they are innovators. They can come up with the most creative solutions out there to solve the pressing issues of our planet. But I think the most important role that you should all remember and we should all keep in mind is that we can be troublemakers. And if we are not on your side, you don't want us on the other side. So we are not scared to bring neglected areas around us to the table and hold world leaders accountable for their action and promises. But just to say that, as other speakers have mentioned, that we really need to be treated as an equal partner and as an implementer of change. So yeah, just wanted to flag a bit of that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Omar, for giving this, can I say, support from youth. And I am sure that you will be in our side. And you will understand why. And the coming round of questions will be more focusing on some solution for youth. This come to second round of questions, and so I will ask Dr. Fawzi Bikawi. I hope he is only online, still online with us. Dr. Fawzi?
Yes.
Okay. I know that INRA, with several partners, support the organization of the Third African Congress on Conservation Agriculture last year. And I remember that it was a Rabat declaration coming as one of the outcomes of this Congress to support the promotion of this, can I say, conservation agriculture to be adopted in African countries. So how do you think that Morocco, through INRA and other partners, you know, the national, public and private, could help to share this technology for other African countries? Maybe as you are also a member of the or leading the scientific committee of AAA, can you give us some thought about how this can be done? By the way, we have our colleague here from South Africa, and he was also in the Congress. He's now in the participating in the event. So floor is yours, Dr. Fawzi.
Thank you, Dr. Mustaq. Yes, indeed, we did organize a successful event thanks to many of our partners, Moroccan and internationals. We did organize this event in 2003, about 300 participants from several African countries. And as you said, it was an opportunity to share the Moroccan experience in conservation agriculture. One of the ways that we are using or undertaking in the context of AAA. First is through several workshops we've done where we invited some of our, for example, with the INRA as colleagues, the NARS directors in other African countries, we did invite them to talk about some of these initiatives. And through these initial workshops, we identify 2 countries. We are talking now to Burkina Faso and to Senegal, and in collaborations with ICARDA, CGIAR, AAA, INRA, we would like to undertake a small project, pilot project with these countries. First of all, by supporting the purchase of a seeder and having an exchange of experts and from each side. And through these projects, through this pilot project, I mean, the key question is conservation agriculture or using no-till, is it adapted to some of the regions? I believe in Burkina Faso, there are some areas that are in the semi-arid regions, very similar to in Morocco. So we will start with this project. And then once we have demonstrated that this is in fact efficient and it can help in more sustainable agriculture and improving yield for the farmers, we will be looking and undertaking a scale-up project, very similar to what we've done in Morocco, and of course adapted. It may not be with wheat, it may be to regional crops. It may be, again, opting or aiming for a different size area, etc. And we would continue working with some of our NARS counterparts in other African countries through meetings to exchange our experiences. And I believe, I mean, the Moroccan experience is a successful one, and it could help other African countries address some of the challenges due to the climate change and maintaining soil health and sustainability. That's how we are, again, looking at this through the AAA initiative.
Merci. Thank you a lot, Dr. Fawzi, for presenting this way of how we can exchange this technology with our partner and also our countries, neighbors countries in Africa. And I'm sure there is a lot of questions will come later, how we can also increase the adoption of this technology around Africa. But this comes to my question to Directeur Général de l'ADA. Le Maroc et l'Afrique, c'est vrai, s'ils sont plutôt communs sur quelque chose, surtout la population jeune. On a beaucoup de jeunes dans le secteur agricole. Et comment l'ADA pense à impliquer ces jeunes pour que d'abord moins d'immigration, qu'elles restent dans le domaine rural. Et bien sûr, c'est eux qui supportent ce genre d'initiative parce que sans ces jeunes-là, on ne pourra pas faire ce mouvement pour atteindre le 1 million d'hectares comme un exemple, mais c'est la même chose pour d'autres initiatives. Comment l'ADA supporte ce genre de programme pour qu'il soit réalisé, surtout pour les jeunes?
Merci, c'est Rachid pour cette question très importante parce que aujourd'hui, la génération green, la politique agricole nationale, donne une importance capitale à l'élément humain,
Voilà,
notamment aux jeunes et aux femmes rurales. Il leur réserve tout un axe dans la stratégie et beaucoup d'indicateurs et beaucoup également d'investissements. C'est dans ce sens qu'il y a un programme national d'entrepreneuriat des jeunes dans le milieu rural et spécialement dans l'agriculture que l'ADA supervise en matière d'exécution avec tous les intervenants, notamment l'ANCAL et des actions régionales, etc. Alors, il y a plusieurs leviers pour l'entrepreneuriat des jeunes. Bien sûr, il y a l'accès aux subventions, l'accès au financement public, etc., au crédit bancaire bonifié, notamment le crédit agricole du Maroc, mais également il y a l'agriculture solidaire. L'agriculture solidaire, son avantage, c'est que le financement est 100% public. On n'a pas besoin d'apport de la part des bénéficiaires. Et dans ces projets solidaires qui sont centrés autour du semi-direct, nous avons déjà imaginé et monté même des composantes d'entrepreneuriat des jeunes dans le cadre des projets solidaires. Alors, j'ai parlé tout à l'heure des composantes du projet au bénéfice des agriculteurs. Et j'ai parlé aussi du financement des équipements nécessaires, notamment des semoirs, des semi-directs avec les tracteurs et tout ça, qui coûtent cher. Dr Fawzi Bkawi l'a dit tout à l'heure, et qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup de disponibilité. Et notre offre en matière d'acquisition de matériel, de semoirs, de semi-directs, etc., c'est dans le cadre d'une opération d'entrepreneuriat des jeunes. Je prends un territoire qui est concerné par le projet solidaire de semi-direct. On organise les jeunes en coopérative entrepreneuriale et on leur fait bien sûr de la formation et tout, l'accompagnement. Et puis on les équipe, on leur achète du matériel de semi-direct avec des tracteurs, avec tout le matériel qui va avec. Et eux, ils réalisent des prestations de semi-direct au profit des agriculteurs dans la région du projet. Et même dans d'autres régions qui ne sont pas concernées par le projet. Et cela en contrepartie d'une rémunération de la part des agriculteurs. Et comme ça, on gagne à double niveau. D'abord, on touche le maximum d'agriculteurs parce que les agriculteurs ne peuvent pas s'équiper chacun par un semoir direct. Ça coûte minimum 200 000 dirhams. Et puis, on crée de l'emploi pour les jeunes qui se structurent mieux, qui interviennent, etc. Et ça, on met également des outils de gestion, même des outils digitaux au profit des agriculteurs pour qu'ils puissent satisfaire les demandes au profit des jeunes, pour qu'ils puissent satisfaire les demandes des fermiers, des agriculteurs. Donc ça, c'est très important. Il n'y a pas que l'acquisition de matériel, mais également l'entrepreneur dans les autres services, services de valorisation, services de la logistique, de transport, mais également dans l'irrigation. Vous savez, ces projets, on les a aussi imaginés avec de l'irrigation de complément quand c'est possible. Dans un projet de semi-direct des céréales, quand vous apportez une dose aux deux irrigations dans le cycle des céréales, ça permet d'atteindre des rendements énormes qui vont jusqu'à 60-70 quintaux à l'hectare. Donc, et ça aussi, on peut également équiper des coopératives entrepreneuriales des jeunes par des équipements d'irrigation de complément et qui peuvent faire des prestations au profit des agriculteurs. Ça, n'en parlons pas, bien sûr, comme l'a dit Madame tout à l'heure, de tout ce qui est intrants, notamment les fertilisants, et ça, on peut aussi développer de l'entrepreneuriat autour des facteurs de production, autour des semences, de la vente des fertilisants, etc., au profit des agriculteurs. Donc, il y a beaucoup d'idées et ce n'est pas seulement des idées, mais aujourd'hui, dans les 54 projets dont j'ai parlé tout à l'heure, il y a déjà des montages qui sont faits et des coopératives qui sont en cours de constitution actuellement par les directions régionales d'agriculture, par l'ANCA, qui vont bénéficier bientôt de financements nécessaires pour leur activité.
Merci.
Voilà, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Ça fait chaud au cœur qu'on entend qu'il y a un écosystème qui se développe parce que le changement, ça nécessite l'écosystème. Et that's why our colleague in Africa last time asking how we can adopt this Moroccan model to be also used in other African countries. But you know, for this, we need ecosystem. You need public and private and NGOs and all these need to work the same direction. That's why I think OCP is doing, as private company, doing some, can I say, real tremendous effort to promote such as climate smart practices. Could you elaborate more, Iman, how OCP is trying to strengthen under this condition of climate our farmers to be more resilient?
Wonderful. It's used.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Well, so
and here I'm maybe talking about Torba initiative, carbon farming.
Yes,
That's something
great.
new coming on the ground, and you
Yeah.
can elaborate more.
Exactly. So beside maybe what I mentioned earlier, supporting farmers with knowledge regarding sustainable agricultural practices, there is the land management area where we are also tackling with Al Mutmir initiative. And you've been and the colleague were mentioning it earlier within your presentation. There is the no-till, the cover crop that they should be aware of, the crop rotation, and many other stuff that the machinery, and Mr. was mentioning it earlier, the machinery is necessary, is absolutely detrimental for farmer support. So all those elements combined together help capture and sequester carbon. But also, and one of the important things is the nexus with food security. We can sequester carbon while you're getting a better yield, which is great. So this is one of the components of soil land management. Maybe to get back to the carbon part of the question, yes, OCP indeed is very much its ambition is committed toward carbon neutrality at 2040. Scope 1, 2, and 3 included. So the part 3 is the use of our fertilizers. The huge amount of our scope 3 is about the use and the application of our fertilizers. So we have this responsibility to help the climate conditions, resilience, but also to decarbonize our value chain. So this is why we are working on this. So we've launched, we've signed and launched a partnership with Regrow. It's project developer to develop an MRV system that will help farmers. I know there is other MRV system existing, like Vera, like others, to get carbon credits, but they are not affordable for African farmers. They are extremely costly, and so to help African farmers and to help our ecosystem get access to carbon credit, to this market as a whole, we should help them. So we had the idea about creating this partnership, and getting back to your first question about partnership, and it's key actually. So creating this partnership and developing this MRV that will be cheaper, affordable for African farmers to help and accelerate this transition. So this is one of the pillars, one of the key projects we are working on. And the other one that you mentioned is the Turba. So Turba, maybe for the others who doesn't know it, Turba is a venture of Innovix. Innovix is another venture of UM6P, and those are ventures in the ecosystem of OCP. And Turba is a project developer working toward accelerating the adoption and the growing of the markets of carbon credits markets. And today,
Turba is a soil in English, in Arabic.
Exactly.
So
Turba is the soil in Arabic. So how can we, and they are working toward increasing soil fertility while sequestering the maximum carbon of carbon. But also, this is the good part of it, is that it's ecosystemic. So the farmer will be at the center and will be rewarded through carbon credits once it's issued.
Okay, thank you. Again, it is very answered, because we need such as initiative. We need some private companies coming to reward these farmers who want to adopt these technologies. I'm very glad that Turba starts in Morocco, and maybe we can take it to Africa. And I know that they are already, they are already some African countries.
Not only in Africa, but maybe internationally. And
that's why the Moroccan model is very interesting, because we are working for us, and also we can serve the whole humanity. That's also very important as outcomes. And I think this leads me to ask my colleague Ajit. Ajit, you heard that this Moroccan model is very important. Ajit, you are here?
Yes, I'm here.
Just link to what you just said. Do you think that these Moroccan farmers who adopt CA need some support for climate fund? Because this is where the struggle is. We are in these issues of getting access to finance. What do you think about the issues of access to finance, as you are working a lot in these items under your work with ICARA?
Thank you, Rashid. And because carbon is a very dear topic to me, and I have been trained as a carbon modeler in the past. So I would really like to continue with what Iman was talking about. You know, conservation agriculture is a fantastic entry point where it directly gives adaptation to the farmers in terms of adapting to the drought and things like that, but also it opens new doors for new money. That means they can sell the carbon. We need, but this is theoretical. But to implement, to make that theoretical more practical, we need some donors like OCP who can fund and make this going forward. You know, at least in the initial stages, they need this type of funding, and these type of initiatives are fantastic, and that can eventually mushroom, and more initiatives can come up. May not be, it need not restrict only to field crops, but also olives and also argan and citrus, which are all prevalent in Morocco. So using the conservation agriculture as a model to not only adapt, but also to make new money through carbon credits is a great thought. And secondly, about the finance, we also need to think about um, getting the finance to the smallholder farmers through government subsidies. So I think we need to influence policymakers or try to inform the policymakers that if they could give some tax breaks or give some incentives to the farmers, maybe in the form of subsidies or maybe in the form of tax breaks to medium to large scale farmers who adopt conservation agriculture practices or climate smart practices in general, that can be one place where farmers directly can get seed funding or incentives, directly as incentives or through subsidies and tax rebates. But this is a long process that involves multiple stakeholders, and this is where we need to engage in discussions with collective stakeholders, not only the policymakers, but also scientists and experts, also NGOs and private sector parties, and also farmers of various scales, smallholder farmers to large-scale farmers who do exports and things like that. So subsidies can play a great role. Subsidies need not be always through the Ministry of Agriculture alone. Ministry of Finance and Economics can play a great role here in the form of giving tax rebates. And Ministry of Energy can play a great role in subsidizing indigenously developed no-till instruments or things of that sort. Yeah. These are some of my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajit. And again, I like when you put it more broader than Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Energy need also to support this kind of initiative. You know, we have one initiative called Istidama of Sustainability that Ministry of Agriculture supports also those farmers, because the use of no-till machines reduce the use of energy. That's also something that we need to work on. And other Ministry of Water, it's also, we are in discussion with them to see how they can support those farmers, because we adopt no-till. There is low water erosion. There is low soil in the dam. We have low sediment in our dams. That's also a big problem that we have in dry land in general, and Morocco also facing. Thank you again for opening this, and I think we need to discuss more how we can involve the other ministries and policy to support this. That's come to, I think, my question to Omar. I think Omar, to involve youth. I know that we have some difficulties for youth because, you know, when youth go to the bank to get access to credit, they have the problem with land tenure because most of them don't have access to land. Do you think that it's important to have a specific program for youth, maybe to be from bank and or finance, and to also for knowledge, because also need to make knowledge very easy for them if you want to adopt this kind of technology and to support the adoption and to scale this conservation culture?
Yes, no, absolutely. You already probably answered my question in the way you asked it. We definitely, as young people, need to support all kinds of means of implementation. Just trying to connect what is happening here at COP in the negotiations with the global goal on adaptation with Article 6. There's a lot of mention of the need to include means of implementation throughout all different negotiated texts, and that, of course, will impact young people across the world. So that is of utmost importance. And then R&D, again, it's important to invest in research and development. But then I heard a lot of the speakers today, and then also throughout COP, mentioning the carbon credits and the need for them to be included for smallholder farmers, for young people, for young farmers. But then there's the issue of MRV, as Iman has mentioned, being very expensive for small farmers to be engaged in carbon markets. But then we also need to be aware that it should not go to at the expense of the high integrity of carbon markets that we wish to have, and not to the expense of the additionality of the credits we wish to make, because countries by the end of February 2025 will be submitting their NDC 3.0. We will see a lot of countries, including Morocco, submitting their nationally determined contributions, probably including conservation agriculture in the NDC and other measures that are of importance. but we need to really encourage young scientists, yourself as a doctor in ICARDA, INRA. We have Dr. Fawzi with us and his researchers to really think about how to make high standards credits in agriculture, because there's a lot of debate. If you go to the negotiation rooms, I've spent a lot of time there in the first weekend now, about how nature-based solutions are not really reliable in terms of credits. So first, focus on research and development. We have companies like OCP really pioneering this work, making monitoring, reporting, verification processes cheap and affordable for farmers and young farmers. And then again, supporting young people across all operations, because there is like this agribusiness leadership that you guys are doing. But then also try to think about not reinventing the wheels. Try to work with the programs that are already in place. There is already a lot of organizations in Africa and in Morocco working with young people. Try and approach them, upscale them, train them with capacity building, with funding, and don't reinvent the wheel, because there's already a lot of stuff happening. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Very concluding remarks. And I think with this we come, but at the end of our panel. But before, I think we still have one question. I show you the slide when I present that we are not in the middle of the distance. We are maybe late because we are in 250,000 hectares this year, inshallah. How we can do our effort to reach 1 million hectares in next 5 years, but also be sure that we are focusing not on a hectare, but we are focusing on human farmers to be involved here, to adopt and not disadopt. So how do you think, maybe my message go directly to Director Fawzi, you are here? I hope you listen. I know it's our late, but is Dr. Fawzi is here? You are listening to us? No? Maybe he moved to another, I know that you have the very...
I'm still here.
Okay. So my question to you, Dr. Fawzi, how do you think we need to involve farmers to adopt this technology? Can I say faster? If you can resume it in 1 or 2 sentences: partnership, advocacy. What do you think? What we have to do to involve these farmers to adopt this technology in faster way?
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think partnership, education, extension, they have to be convinced, I believe, and they have to understand also that this is not just trying it once. It's a long-term solution. They have to understand is that soil health is really key to their survival. And that soil, if it's not treated well, it won't stay very long. And this is the key. This is what we are doing it. And they have to understand also that in years of normal rain, they may not see a difference.
Yeah.
But in year of drought, they will see a difference. So if we get 2 or 3 years of rain, they should not go back. So I think that those are some of the elements. A lot of people were not aware of no-till, and now they've seen some of their neighbors, farmers that have been using, and I think they are convinced, because in these years of successful droughts, they've seen that no-till has all the time given a better yield, So I believe that it's those elements, and the involvement of the government is really key. So I think the strategies, Generation Green, it's a 10-year strategy, and I think the government, I believe, will be there for the whole 10 years, and we will reach this 1 million hectare. I'm confident that we'll do that, because it's the only solution, and going back is not a solution.
Okay, thank you a lot, Dr. Fawzi, for your support, and also for giving this ambitious program some scientific based knowledge from INRA and all partners, because it's needed. That's come to my question to Directeur Général of ADA. L'ADA, il fait un effort important à mettre, comme vous l'avez dit tout à l'heure, l'humain, le farmer dans le centre de ce développement. Et bien sûr, en créant plus d'emplois, plus de prospérité. Comment vous pensez qu'on pourrait juste accélérer encore plus? Parce que il nous faut atteindre ce chiffre qui nous paraît symbolique, mais il est important parce que ça nous permettrait de rendre notre agriculture, vous l'avez dit, les chiffres sont énormes, 20% pour le céréales. Et comment on peut rendre ça plus rapide selon vous? Est-ce que c'est à travers le FDA? Est-ce que à travers ce que vous faites dans l'agriculture solidaire? Ou on peut rêver un peu et faire autre chose sur un programme plus ambitieux, qui inclut aussi les jeunes? Oui, it's working. Ah oui,
صافي
c'est bien.
احنا باغيين نتناجي.
Le batterie.
Alors, j'ai parlé de la problématique des équipements, des
Ouais,
machines,
ouais.
normalement, notamment des semoirs,
Semoirs, ouais.
voilà, des semoirs. Et ça aujourd'hui, il faut booster la fabrication, accélérer notamment la fabrication nationale, etc., pour avoir des prix abordables, etc.
Excellent.
Deuxièmement, je pense que, bon, à part l'agriculture solidaire pour laquelle nous avons le financement à 100%, il faut également, je pense, à mon avis, revoir à la hausse les taux de subvention dans le cadre du Fonds de développement agricole
Ouais,
pour inciter les autres agriculteurs aussi qui ne sont pas inclus dans le programme d'agriculture solidaire à s'équiper.
c'est vrai.
À s'équiper. Donc, et ça, c'est très important. Aujourd'hui, nous avons une subvention, je pense, qui va jusqu'à 50%.
50%, ouais.
Et on peut aller beaucoup plus au-delà de 50%. Parce que la cause, elle est là, la cause, elle est noble. Également, il y a des régions au Maroc où il reste encore à faire beaucoup d'efforts en matière de sensibilisation, de démonstration, etc. Moi, quand j'étais directeur de l'Office du RERB,
Oui,
directeur régional de la région de Rabat, Salé-Kinitra, les plateformes de Sidi Qassem, de Had Court, etc.,
ouais.
on faisait avec vous d'ailleurs, on faisait des essais, et avec l'ANCA, des essais de semi-direct. Beaucoup d'agriculteurs n'étaient pas convaincus.
Effectivement, ouais.
Mais quand ils ont vu, par exemple, l'année de sécheresse 2016, c'était une année de sécheresse assez
Ouais.
sévère,
Ouais.
il y a des agriculteurs qui ont réalisé du 45, du 50 quintaux à l'hectare seulement par semi-direct, dans des conditions difficiles, à Had Kourt, à Sidi Qassem, etc. Et aujourd'hui, la province de Sidi Qassem, elle est très demandeur
C'est vrai,
en matière de semi-direct.
c'est vrai.
Donc, je pense que le travail de sensibilisation, d'accompagnement reste encore à faire beaucoup de choses par notamment l'Office national du conseil agricole, mais également par vous-même, par l'INRA, par l'ADA et par toutes les directions régionales. C'est très important. L'ambition, comme vous l'avez dit, doit être revue à la hausse.
Carrément.
Pas seulement le million d'hectares. Nous cultivons au Maroc 5 millions d'hectares de céréales.
Ouais.
Et l'objectif de 1 million, c'est un cinquième de la superficie totale. Mais si on fait beaucoup plus d'efforts, je pense qu'on pourra aller jusqu'à 2 millions. Nous avons vu comment c'est l'INRA qui pilote le programme dans sa globalité. J'ai vu avec Dr Fouzi Bkawi comment les chiffres ils ont rapidement évolué entre 2022, 2021 et 2024. Rapidement, on a atteint les 200 000 hectares, etc. Et je suis très confiant par rapport au succès de ce programme. Tout le monde en parle aujourd'hui. Tout le monde, vous avez vu dans les 2 dernières campagnes agricoles, lors du lancement symbolique des campagnes agricoles par le ministre de l'Agriculture, il y avait le semi-direct qui était prépondérant. Il y avait beaucoup de demandes de la part des agriculteurs, des professionnels. Et donc, ça prend de l'élan. Et je vous félicite d'ailleurs, l'INRA, pour le travail que vous faites dans l'agriculture de conservation de manière générale, mais également pour ce programme spécifiquement de semi-direct.
Et
Voilà.
qu'en pensez-vous d'un levée de fonds à travers le fonds que vous avez au niveau de l'ADA, par exemple?
Merci pour m'avoir rappelé ce point. C'est important. L'ADA aujourd'hui travaille avec le Fonds vert pour le climat. Nous sommes accrédités auprès du GCF et nous travaillons sur un projet de mise à l'échelle du semi-direct.
Excellent.
Donc, nous avons finalisé la concept note,
Bien.
la note conceptuelle
Excellent.
que nous avons présentée au Fonds vert pour le climat. J'espère, c'est dans le, je dirais, le cœur de la politique d'adaptation et dans le cœur aussi des conditions d'éligibilité par rapport au GCF. Et je suis confiant avec le GCF qu'on aura un don pour mettre à l'échelle, à grande échelle, le semi-direct dans toutes les régions du Maroc.
Excellent. Ah,
Merci.
bravo. Bravo. Ça donne de l'ambition. Merci. Iman, OCP, we are sure that we need, we are more than glad when we observe what OCP is doing, not only in Morocco, but also in Africa and world. Do you think that we can achieve this 1 million hectare by this kind of ecosystem that developed now, and also to put farmers in as a centric of this effort to put them more resilient to these climate issues?
I think we have all the elements to achieve it and even more, be more ambitious.
Inshallah.
It's more about partnership, but also about not putting too much burden on the farmer. Because I think we are expecting a lot from farmers. They are doing their best. However, sometimes, and my colleagues were mentioning it earlier, there is a lack of awareness about this. Why
Technology.
are we doing this? They are asking us to invest a lot from our pockets. Indeed, there is incentive, there is financing, etc. But I think maybe it's not enough. We should put more on the table and raise the awareness about long-term impact. It's not about tomorrow's impact, but it's about a long-term impact. And maybe to the colleague who was here before, who was mentioning the fact that there is future generations to come.
Yes.
The farmers are aging, getting agers, and we should also implicate and involve youth farmers to take the lead, because they are not only providing us with commodities, it's food. Food is vital. So we have to invest on it. And I think we have all the means for this, maybe for a more ambition, maybe a bold partnership.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Merci.
for your message. And I think with this, I give the floor to Ajit, you are here? Ajit?
Yes, yes, I'm here. I'm here.
So in 2 sentences, I know that you can take hours, but please, in 2 sentences, what do you think could be solution to involve more farmers in this national plan? Is it
Yes.
partnership? Is it what? Please.
No, the quickest way to attract more farmers is to give incentives, and of course, incentives comes through many ways. It can be through financial incentives or tax rebates, things of that sort. But also, as Dr. Fauzi mentioned, awareness. It's not all farmers are aware of the things. When we analyze the data, what's the contribution of Moroccan GDP to agriculture versus the agriculture production versus the annual precipitation, we see that even if the annual precipitation is declining in the recent years, the agriculture contribution to GDP is still pretty much the same. That means farmers are still producing somehow, maybe using groundwater. So creating awareness is very crucial. For example, awareness, what type of awareness? Like what is the consequence in 5 years? Okay, you may be able to do cultivation now, but what happens after 5 years or after 10 years? Those type of awareness, if we create very clearly and in simple language, I think that's the quickest way for farmers to adopt more and more. Thank you.
Thank you. My colleague Ajit, for awareness is important. I'm sure that we need to adapt it to youth also. What do you think, Omar? How we can involve farmers, youth farmers, to be more, first to work still in agriculture sector, and also to be more engaged to achieve this 1 million hectare? In 2 sentences.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to thank you all for the insightful discussions today. I see the current president of my organization has joined us, Alperen. He's from Turkey.
Okay.
I am the former president in 2020, 2021, and I'm really, really happy to see our network of young students. You know, we don't have the means, we don't have the funding, but we still have been engaging in this space, in UNFCCC space since 2002.
That's good.
And our organization exists since 1957. So you realize how long time ago, how young people realized that we can only grow and how we can only become better if we work together. And I'm very happy to tell you that IAS was created, as I said, in 1957 with only 8 member countries, and today is the biggest student network in the world in the field of agriculture and related sciences, with over 10,000 members and in over 50 countries. And really happy and proud that Morocco has hosted the World Congress with the support of ADA and the Agriculture Ministry. Back then, Minister Sadiqi was very supportive of us. I'm very, very happy to really see Moroccan youth really engaged in this space. In UNFCCC, as I said, as in FAO, but what we really, really need from you guys, from researchers, from governments, from different agencies, from the private sector, is really to rely on youth and engage them in every possible way. Capacity building, funding, and then, as I said, connecting to negotiations, means of implementation.
Yeah. That's wonderful. And let's come to the word green generation. That's it.
Exactly, yeah.
With this name.
Wanted to say that as well.
Okay, that's come to the end of this panel. I know that we are late in the today, but I want to thank our colleagues online who follow. You know, it was Zoom session. There is a lot of partners who following us, and I'm sure that researchers also following us in this session. And more than glad to thank you, panelists, for your insights. Et merci beaucoup pour votre appui et support. Merci.